Hey, my name is Trisha. I'm 24 and I'm a writer by profession. My main advocacies include like sex positivity, body positivity, and basically women's and LGBTQ rights. My main goal is really just to get everyone to a point where they can live their lives freely, free from judgment, free from stigma, and have the full protection of the law and be treated with kindness and compassion. These advocacies are actually very personal to me since obviously a woman and I'm also part of the LGBTQ community and I'm also a very sexual being, so I noticed that me being who I was already meant that I was disadvantaged in society, and of course I didn't agree with that. And I saw so many people like me who were also considered lower in society just because they were part of these, I guess, classes or groups of people that they really had no choice in being part of. So it's partly a personal thing for myself, but also because I see people like me, suffering and in pain. Well, I'm part of a burlesque troupe called Burlesque.Ph, and we like to forward basically the woman's choice to do with her body what she wants. And it's such a great roster of beautiful, strong, empowered women with different body types, like different aesthetics, different looks, different personalities. And it's just a way to affirm people that you can be who you are, look the way you look, and still be beautiful and still be glamorous and still be admired by other people. Besides that, I also started an alternative sex education platform with one of my friends, and it's called Now Open. And it's basically an online sex ed platform where Filipino youth, especially female Filipino youth or queer Filipino youth, can learn about sex education that's totally lacking in schools or in their families. The biggest difference between being objectified and celebrating yourself is that in being objectified, you don't really have a choice and you don't have any power or control over which direction it goes. But with burlesque and other similar forms that express and celebrate sexuality, it's really about the individual's power to take it where they want to go. So in burlesque, sure, we might be doing a lot of things that are very similar to striptease or stripping in practice, but in theory, because we're not controlled by someone else's money or someone else's gaze, that we have full control over how our performance goes and what we want to do in our performance, because for us it's art, then I'm no longer being objectified because I'm telling and inviting people into my space to celebrate with me versus them imposing it on me. Well, one of the things that really keeps me going, because it is very, difficult to be fighting a system that says, that empowered women and sexually empowered women especially are wrong because of our conservative society. What keeps me going is I have people messaging me on Twitter telling me that, they're so scared in their real lives because they're so scared to be judged by their families, or even worse, disowned or hurt by their families because of these feelings that they have that are completely normal. And to have them come to me and say that they look up to me and that they feel safer and more comfortable in who they are because someone like me, I don't even do much, I just exist, basically, that it gives them confidence to also exist. That, I think, for me is what makes it really worth it. Just because it's something on paper doesn't mean it's something in practice. And we are getting better at it, I think, every day. Recently, an anti-catcalling bill was passed, so Safe Spaces bill, that's an incredible step forward for so many women. But we shouldn't be complacent because there's still so much for us to progress in. So I think with Philippine society, we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. The fact that we're not denying it's a problem is the first step to fixing any problem. And at least it brings more awareness to people who might not realize it's a problem because they start asking questions about why does Women's Month exist? And then it brings them to further information, which allows them to see what the real situation is for women in this country and women all over the world. And hopefully, once they have that information, they're willing to do something to help. In a way, I'm using technology as well to forward it again, because now we're at an age where information is just so readily available, but then now it's not so much an access to information, but knowing where to look and knowing which people to trust. Since my big thing is really about choice, but it really is about an informed choice. So what's great about technology and online shopping is that you literally have all the choices in front of you at one time. But that can get a bit overwhelming, so just take your time and don't rush your decisions. That applies in real life as well. You know, just learn as much as you can, so that when you do make your decision, you're making it with confidence. But I hope that 10 years from now, people like me aren't rare. And I hope it's not something that we celebrate because it's standard. You know, like hopefully 10 years from now, it becomes normal and acceptable to be like this and not out of the ordinary.